YouTube, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. It is your boy Zay back on your screen, and today, guys, I have a video for you guys today, pretty much giving my opinion, my review on Black Ops 6. Now, guys, after playing the beta recently, Black Ops 6 beta, we got our first hands-on look at the game and be able to pretty much experience what the game is going to be like when the game kind of launches, but not entirely. The big question is Black Ops 6 going to be the revival of COD? Or are we just going to see a refurbished version of Black Ops Cold War with added maps, weapons, and graphics? Hey, I'm like you, I'm just a gamer who enjoys COD, but when it's not overloaded with skill-based matchmaking. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty stuff of pretty much my experience playing the Black Ops 6 beta, I want to first off start by saying that this year for COD has the potential to be a great year for COD players if everything is put into place like it should be once the fully game launches on late October. But besides that, I feel like everything that's been introduced to us as far as every aspect in the game could make this game potentially a great year for COD. Now, when I get into things that I've experienced while playing the game, first off, I want to give a shout out to the visual effects artists who did their thing with this game, because visually the game looks absolutely beautiful to look at. You know what I'm saying? Lighting, color schemes, and generally, they don't go for as far as visuals, they don't stick to the modern theme as how Infinity Ward and them would usually do it. They stick to their own type of visual effects that they stick when it comes to Treyarch games. Visuals already look amazing, but of course, if you're on PC, then playing with optimized settings will make your game look even better just off the bat. Not to mention, we haven't even seen the full length of how the campaign and zombies will look. Can't wait to see what that looks like later on when we finally get the full game launch. And considering how much of a longer time period Treyarch had to work with this game, you definitely can see the results of their, their graphics and their team pretty much putting together this amazing, beautiful view when it comes to maps and all that. I typically love the way Treyarch make their visuals in their COD games because of the fact it isn't realistic. Like I said, it isn't realistic as compared to Infinity Ward games where they like to make things hyper realistic. It feels like I'm actually playing a video game and not a in-war simulator game. You feel what I'm saying? So I really am excited and pleased with the way they make this look as far as visuals. Now, if you play the beta and you also keep up with viral clips around social media and such stuff like that, then I'm sure a lot of you can agree the most distinctively new feature, being able to have a meat shield in COD, is absolutely one of the most funniest and newly things that can be done in COD as of today. I'm so glad someone came up with this idea of just bringing something fun and new to the COD community. And not only that, but proximity chat can also be available once you have made contact with your enemy and have them as a meat shield. You can pretty much talk to them, and it's one of the most funniest things. I've seen so many clips online already of people just doing the most craziest absurd things with this meat shield, and I'm only excited to see what else is to come afterwards. There's so many different aspects you can mess around and use this for, especially when it comes to when Warzone drops finally. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a lot more crazy viral clips of people just doing some of the most wildest things that you could possibly do when it comes to using this meat shield. It does have its pros and cons, of course, when it comes to actually grabbing somebody. There's a chance that enemies still have a chance to shoot you, even though it's supposed to be considered a meat shield, which I'm sure is probably more gonna get tweaked and maybe even buffed a little bit more just to make it more useful in game. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, really great thing that they add, great feature. I'm glad they're starting to get a little more creative when it comes to experimenting with different things to help better and make the COD community have a lot more fun in these multiplayer lobbies. Another thing I want to shout out, not many people talk much about it, is the main menu theme song, right? So music in this game plays a heavy role, especially if you guys are all my older head, who played COD from back in the day. You guys would know that a lot of the music that plays during these, times where we're getting amped up, getting ready to play is it's a key motivator, key build up to us getting ready to play the game, essentially, right? Those of you that played other Treyarch COD games know that their soundtrack most of the time hits. Now, if you know, then you know that the most iconic theme song from Treyarch COD game in here is Black Ops 2 Adrenaline. That shit hit harder than your grandma when you used to get hit with a cuckoo stick, alright? Let me tell you. You hear it so often, you can't forget it. It's hard to miss it, right? But I can't lie, the main soundtrack is pretty up there, I can't complain about it. It sounds pretty decent. I'm more excited to see also what Zombie sounds like, because if Treyarch has a way with their music when they make these soundtracks, man. So if the older Treyarch games, when they had their soundtracks playing, were pretty good, and I'm pretty sure this is the newer one. They had 4 years to develop and pick, a great song to fit that theme for zombies. I'm expecting something that's just out of this world, and the same thing when it comes to Warzone. I'm expecting something that's gonna really hit as soon as you get into the main menu. I'm expecting it to hit. Now, after playing the beta on both weeks, I can probably say that I didn't have a bad time at all. Not gonna lie, at first, you know, the first week you're getting used to the movement and even like just experimenting for the very first time even as a new player. If you're a new player, could jump into COD and this is like your first COD you're playing, getting into the movement, you know what I'm saying, like it's gonna give you hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like everything is working against you, especially when you're trying to figure out, like, you know, how everyone's moving as far as the movement kinks. They're already used to this type of shit, you feel what I'm saying? So like, but once you start really playing and adapting to the new Omni movement within the game, it becomes a lot more simple, a lot more easier to really grasp like the idea of the movement and where they're trying to go with it, and like you really get a good feeling of it, you know? Now let me say this, right? As far as like the way they went about trying something new and pretty much making the main focal point surrounding a new movement in this game, understand this, right? The increasing number of people playing Warzone and the amount of players using movement as their focal point when it comes to killing players, and not just like your average casual player, but like, you know, regular people who are pulling off these crazy movement kills. If you go on YouTube right now, right, you could find countless amount of channels that literally dedicate their channels to Warzone movement settings or killing Twitch streamers with movement on Warzone just to get a reaction out of people, right? Now, I'm pretty sure this could be like a reasonable cause as to why the devs suggested that maybe leaning towards more this sort of change and catering to that new trend. This could be the reason why they decided to go that way. I'm not against this at all, but it also seems like it kind of gives mouse and keyboard players more of an advantage when it comes to movement, just for the fact that they have a mouse that controls the way they move, and making them more likely to have a better utilization of the Omni movement than controller players, if you get what I'm saying. Now, with that being said, we've only seen this crazy movement within multiplayer and not Warzone. Warzone doesn't drop until like, I want to say mid-December, because that's when the first season first drops. So I don't really know what to expect as of yet when it comes to landing into the Warzone, or even playing zombies, how this Omni movement can benefit and, you know, give certain people an advantage as far as in-game. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of people are going to have a complaint about this, especially people who are more used to play, just casually playing, like people who are just trying to come home, like, you know, old school heads, old dads or grandparents who have been playing COD for such a long time, just want to come home and play COD, you feel what I'm saying? They're not really going to get used to this type of movement because this is more so catering towards a newer generation of COD players. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? Some people are going to have their opinions on it and some people are going to enjoy it very, very well. Now, like I said, pretty much what you want to do is you want to pretty much come on and try your best to adapt. If you can't, then I'm sorry to say this, but this game is not going to be for you, and that's just the end of it. In my opinion, I feel like it's a great addition to the game, you know what I'm saying? It's something new, something that we've never experienced before. I mean, obviously we had advanced movement before, but never movement like this. This is definitely something that's just crazy new to everybody playing COD. And I feel like if you can adapt to it and become great at this type of movement, you will do great when it comes to playing this game. The next thing I want to address is the weapon balancing and spam use of weapons within this game. Now again, I know this was just a beta and everyone's trying to find the meta to use and get the best gameplay they can get to go up on their channels. Cool, whatever, I'm all for that. But the idea of not giving any cons to the weapons as far as like the attachments goes, it was well thought up, but also doesn't make any sense if you have people spamming the most two overpowered weapons in the game while the beta was active, which was the XM4 and the Jackal PDW. I mean, absolutely spamming these two weapons. Now, it's not that order because obviously the Jackal PDW was more used overall in comparison to the XM4. The gun is just an all-around, just OP ass gun. It has great range, great damage, and you move so well with this weapon overall. And obviously that was before they patched it from week 1 to week 2. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot more weapon balancing when the game launches fully in October. At the same time, it's like if those two weapons are just like that, then what's gonna happen when the rest of the weapons get placed into the game and we have a lot more going on? Like, they got to figure this stuff out beforehand. We have so much time to really see because they only give us a few weapons to use within the beta to try out. So with those, based on those weapons we got to try out, we got to see, and they got to test us and see what works and what doesn't work. So hopefully when full game launch they get to fix that, and we have to see some changes coming in the future. I'm also interested in looking forward to, as far as CDL goes, like what's going to be the main AR, considering we've seen the XM4 come out once before in Cold War. But we'll have to wait until the season starts to actually see what's going to be happening as far as rank play and as far as what the CDL league is going to be looking like as far as weapons and maps and stuff like that. So we got time to see that, but I'm just excited to see what's coming with that. I'm really a big ranked play fan. Hopefully it's not going to be called ranked play. Maybe if they bring back league play, I'm really, you know, I'm scratching my nose on that one, but we're gonna see how it flows out. I'm really excited to see what they do as far as ranked or league play, whatever they decide to call it. Hopefully it is league play. One thing I really want to make sure to put out there that I'm sure a lot of people had a hard time dealing with when they were playing the beta was the connection experience within the game. There was I'm talking, there was countless amount of times that me and my friends, even my friends, while playing, were disconnected, game crashing, dev erroring, or even not even be able to join each other's lobbies for a period of time. Like, it was stressful. Then of course you had ping that was just going through the roof sometimes. You had latency problems, packet burst problems, packet loss problems. I mean, it was just such a disaster when it comes to the connection in the game. Now we all know that in the past few CODs that we've had to deal with this same exact experience, a lot of connection issues, you know what I'm saying? And let me say, if we have to deal with this as like a part 2 this year in a 4-year development game in Treyarch, what are we doing? We have a huge problem, right? Now, it's been going on for a long time. Like even not in the past 2 CODs, like we've been having to deal with connection issues for a very long time. People always complain about servers being fixed. Man, even when it comes to me playing ranked on Modern Warfare 3, the server errors that we have all the time, where we keep getting crashed out, people are lagging out of the game, and it just causes so much lag due to ping and latency and connection this, connection that. It's just terrible. It's not a fun experience, and people want to come to play COD for a fun, enjoyable experience. And if we having connection issues between consoles and PCs and all that, or even just the lobby in general, nobody's gonna want to come play COD and come back to play COD because they have to keep dealing with the same issue over and over and over again. In all honesty though, it was only a beta, so like issues should be expected to come up in these type of betas, because obviously, you know, they're testing things. They gotta make sure things work the way they're supposed to work, and if they don't work, it gets reported, and of course they fix it. Hopefully they fix this stuff in time before launch. You know, we hope so, but you know, it's not a guarantee, because you know, server issue has been a problem for so long now. Like we're not even guaranteed that they're gonna fix these type of problems. But like I said, we can only hope for the best, and hopefully they end up fixing this problem to where people can play games smoothly. Servers are, you know, hosted the way they're supposed to be hosted, and we have like a great connection all around throughout the whole gaming experience. Now, speaking of connection and server issues, right, it's something I want to talk about that, you know, I'm sure a lot of you have probably experienced already, and I know I've definitely experienced already while playing the beta. And it's crazy, but at the same time, it's expected. Hackers, oh my goodness, I cannot believe, but I also shouldn't be surprised that in the beta, hackers in the first week of the beta are like just making themselves well known and present. Now, obviously, this is an ongoing issue throughout the COD in general, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? But now, ever since PC was, you know, able to play within the cross-platform mix with COD, and of course with console players, there's only so much Call of Duty and Activision can do about this whole situation, the issue in general. And of course, the community's helping out by, you know, spam reporting players if they notice something fishy going on in the game. Especially me, when I've played, I've seen a bunch of crazy stuff that's happened, and we've reported people, and you know, action was taken, and we've seen people actually kicked from the game at that very instant if they were doing something that's kind of sketchy. But honestly, like, they need something more definitive in place to really stop these hackers and cheaters from ruining this game, and for, like, you know, ruin it for players who actually just want to come on and play casually. Maybe like an account limit counter or something like that, something linked to like their IP to show how many accounts they've made, and they have like an account maker limit. Like, say you can only make like 3 accounts, and once you hit that 3rd account, you can no longer make any more Activision accounts based on your IP or where you're at, or, you know, whatever they're using to track people's, you know, system, and, you know, tell what's going on in their system. But something more definitive and concrete is really going to help eliminate as many cheaters and hackers as possible, because literally it's ruining the game for players. Like, you would think you're in a regular game, and then somebody just, you know, somebody kills you from out of nowhere, and you just like, how? Then you end up watching the kill feed and see that he's literally just locking onto you from across the map, shooting through every like 10 buildings or something like that, or a rock, 3 different rocks, just to kill you from out of nowhere. And then you're like, okay, what the hell? How am I supposed to play in a game like this? You can't. It's literally impossible. Something's got to happen. You know, they got Ricochet in place, they got all these different things in place to get rid of these hackers and cheaters, but like I said, there's only so much they can do, and us as a community got to do our, you know, we're doing our best to help out with them. But like, I don't know, man, it's mind-boggling to me, and I don't understand. Like, if you're that bad that you have to cheat on a beta, not even a full release game, you need to just go fuck yourself at this point, to be honest. The final thing I want to point out from this beta experience, which I'm sure, you know, it will get sorted out or fixed, or even catch its footing at some point, is the spawn systems within these maps. Now, I've played pretty much every map within the beta that we were allowed and available to play, you know, as far as the open beta and, you know, the first early access beta. I played every single one of the maps, right? I've got my experience with them. I've ran around them, got a good look at them, you know, just played through every single one of the maps, and just, you know, pretty much got a feel for where the spawns are, you know, just how the spawns are working on these maps. I can conclude that the spawns in this year's COD are pretty bad. I mean, to the point where if one person from your team steps foot into the enemy territory, you'll find out that one of the enemy team players will somehow apparently end up behind you, or in some case even next to you, you know, and that's just crazy to me. Now, generally spawns do work in a certain way depending on the game mode that you're playing, which makes sense as to the reason why, you know, I don't play TDM as often. Cough, cough, shit spawns. You know what I'm saying? But it does seem like they base the spawns logic around the idea of all maps being small to medium maps. which is kind of similar to the maps like Nuketown or Shipment from MW3. Now, I do have to give them the benefit of doubt because can't forget that these are new maps, not copies or remasters. So, you know, they literally have to start from scratch and pretty much do and figure out spawns and how spawns are going to work within these maps. Considering these are only the small maps that we got to play in the beta, I don't know if it's going to be larger maps in the full game, and they still have to also figure that out because we did not get to test, even if they did have large maps, we didn't get to test none of those large maps. So who knows how spawns are actually going to work within the full game after launch. But like I said, they just got to figure this out, and they got to figure out how the spawns are willing to work in accordance to each map, and of course the different game modes that come with these maps. Domination, you know, like if you capture 2 flags on a certain side of the map, it shouldn't be to a point where, you know, we cross over to that mid B point capture zone and the spawns are starting to flip and enemy teams are spawning behind us on our home flag, and they still have their home flag captured. Those home flags should be able to hold a weight in the spawns as far as the map goes to where your team and the enemy are spawning at. It makes sense. That's how it's been in older CODs, and it should be the same way in this current COD, Black Ops 6. I don't understand why they're trying to change things or why they having a hard time figuring it out, but it's something that needs to be addressed and fixed prior to, you know, full game. With all that being said, I'm still excited to see what's coming in the next month for the launch of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Who knows what new changes will be added within the time frame they have, you know what I'm saying? With the given feedback from the community, with the given feedback from all the content creators, all we can do is hope for the best, and hopefully they deliver everything that they promised us and a lot more. You feel what I'm saying? But it has been your boy Zay. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm out here, y'all. Hope you guys did enjoy. Peace out.